everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lysha and I'm the owner of Lysha Be Creative, and on this channel I do all things tumbler tutorials as well as other resin related crafts. So today's video is very similar to a video I did a few months ago at this point. We're going to do another craft store haul meets a wall sign. So this is actually something I haven't ever done on my channel. I just really started to get into doing some decor and decorating my craft space. And so I'm going to show you how I put together this super cute wood letter sign that I found with some discounted items and clearance items that I got from Hobby Lobby. So of course, everything that I use for the tutorial will be listed down in the description box down below. I'll also show you all the other goodies that I was able to grab up along my shopping spree, if you will, at Hobby Lobby this past week. But I do hope that you enjoy today's tutorial, and if you do, make sure before you leave to give this video a huge thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell so you're notified when I post my videos every Tuesday and Saturday. So let's go ahead and jump right into today's tutorial. So first up is my trip to Hobby Lobby. So I love to go to the craft store. I'm sure that no one is surprised by that, but I really enjoy going to the craft store when I am in need of filling up my sort of creative cup, if you will. So frequently, believe it or not, there are times where I just feel like I'm not having the best ideas, or I'm not truly inspired by anything that I currently have kind of in my working notebook, if you will, of different ideas. And sometimes I just feel like I need to go to the craft store, look at all the pretty things, and really re-energize myself to create something beautiful. So I love to start in the fabric aisle. That is a great section to get some really unique and fun ideas for creating on tumblers. And of course, my new favorite section has been the ribbon section. So I actually am not a person who would gravitate normally towards the ribbon section, but I most recently have been really interested in all the different unique ribbon styles and different kinds of ribbons and colors and sort of shades and designs on ribbon that really have also been rather sort of inspiring to create new tumbler ideas. So I kind of am someone who, when I also go to the craft store, I'm someone who I like to go by myself. I like to go down every single aisle. So definitely can't take the kids or the husband with me, but I like to just go down every single aisle and just find something that is going to be inspiring to me. And oftentimes I don't have sort of an idea with what I'm going to create with some of the items I pick up, but I do know I like to just kind of pick and choose little things that I think I can create really fun ideas with and put those in my cart to purchase. Another thing is I landed some zippers. I've seen so many zipper tumblers and I have been wanting to get myself into creating them. So I grabbed a couple zippers as well of different sizes so I could come up with some fun and unique zipper style tumblers. So now is kind of the trek through the larger part of the store. There was a lot of fall decor, of course, because at this point it was about 40% off, I think, at the store. Lots of things to choose from to add to decorating and putting together my craft space for the fall season. But I wanted to also show you a couple of other things that I really like to look at. So the sort of picture frame aisle and sign aisle are also great for finding little trinkets and inexpensive or clearance items that will be great for your tumbler photography sections. So don't forget to stop by those sections. I'm not saying grab the most expensive items, but often at Hobby Lobby, I do find a lot of clearance items, which is perfect to kind of stockpile my list and my collection of different ideas to add for tumbler props. And I couldn't leave the store without stopping in the vinyl aisle to check out what was new, and I was really surprised that they had some new patterns here in the Paper Studio one sheet vinyl racks. I have grabbed probably every single one, and I was really excited that there were a few new ones and that they were even leopard print. So you guys know that I grabbed those up. Now on to the scrapbook aisle, which again is another great area to kind of find new ideas that you can create and put on tumblers. Even if you don't put the actual paper on tumbler, remember that hack that I showed you where you could copy this onto printable vinyl or copy it onto a water slide and get a beautiful, beautiful look without having to struggle with the thick paper. So here's my haul. Of course, I grabbed a little bit of some ribbon, the zippers that I mentioned. I can't wait to get a zipper tumbler started. And then of course, you guys know that I found all things leopard print and most of them ended up in my cart. So a roll of some vinyl and a couple of vinyl sheets that of course are all rainbow and leopard print inspired. This last thing was these wood signs that I've actually been using to create these like fall decor signs. So I'm really excited to hopefully bring one of those to the channel as well. And then I also was able to find these on clearance. They were literally like 74 cents, no lie, in the very back corner of the store. And this was also part of my haul. And I couldn't find my whole name, which is what I was going for, but I did find the initials of my business. So I thought this would be perfect to kind of put together a cute tutorial of how I'm gonna sort of decorate these and inspire and put them inside my space. So after taking all of the paper and stickers off, I am going to color these with my 3 brand colors, which are pink, purple, and blue. And then we're going to let them dry and we'll move on to the next step. So now we're going to move on to adding a bit of glitter to these, because you guys know that I can't create a sign and not have some form of glitter on it. So I'm going to be using 2 colors here, both from Vinyl Gallery and their glitter line 4K glitter. I'm using Unicorn Sneeze and Over the Rainbow. I actually used these in a tutorial a couple of weeks ago when one of my vinyl lines launched. So it's a beautiful, beautiful blend. I love these 2 white colors because they have that sort of rainbow look and shift to them, which I absolutely love. It doesn't shift to one color or the other. It's complete rainbow, and it just reminds me of like looking in those little rectangular prisms that you did when you were a kid. So I'm just going to put a thin layer of Mod Podge. I'll go down with Unicorn Sneeze first because that is the chunkier glitter of the 2, and then obviously I'll pick up this glitter, and then I'm going to go in with Over the Rainbow, which is a little bit finer. So my goal was to get full coverage around the entire top of all 3 of these here, just to kind of give that base. I didn't want to put the same color glitter down as the letters, just because I wanted to have a little bit of that fun shift, because we're going to be adding a couple elements on top that are really going to incorporate the other colors. And so I wanted to make sure to just make it sparkly first and then be able to add all my extra elements later. So of course I won't make you sit here and watch me do all 3 of these. We're going to do a quick time lapse of me doing the other 2 letters, and then we'll kind of move on to the next sort of step. So I did let these dry with the Mod Podge and glitter for about 20 to 30 minutes before they were dry, and I moved on to the next step. I did brush them off with my dry chip brush just to remove any of the extra glitter that wasn't actually stuck to the Mod Podge. And now we're going to get these sealed. So I am using my Liquidy Split KS Resin Fast Set Epoxy to put a nice layer over top of these. I need a smooth surface in order to move into the other elements that I'm going to be adding, and so I wanted to make sure to seal these. Alternatively, if you didn't want to use epoxy or a fast set, you definitely could go ahead and use UV resin. I knew for a fact I wasn't going to have enough UV resin, and I was completing this project at night, so I didn't really have the opportunity to kind of lay these outside to cure under the sunlight, if you will. So I'm just going to use my popsicle stick and my fingers, a combination of both, to get these sealed with a thin layer of Mod Podge. These sort of letters are probably about 12 inches tall, I want to say. So for all 3 of them, I think I used about 120 mLs of epoxy. And again, I'm just being very careful, just like I would if I was doing like a clipboard, sort of those flat surfaces, or a tray, making sure that none of that epoxy is dripping over the side, and that I go around the lettered area to make sure that none of that epoxy has gone over the edge and sort of stuck to the other end. So I'll set them all aside, let them cure. My Liquidy Split only takes me probably about 4 hours to really fully cure and for me to be able to touch it. So I'm going to let them sit for the 4 hours, let them fully cure, and then we'll kind of get into cleaning these up and then adding our next decals and sort of additives to the top of these. So after the 4 hours, now I'm going to go into sanding. I was so hopeful that I wouldn't have to sand, but I did need to kind of clean up my edges around all of the letters. And so what I'm using instead of my Dremel, which is sort of my go-to, since this is wood, I'm just using a nail file. And the reason why I'm using a nail file versus like my sanding blocks, which I frequently use, is because I'm trying to make sure that I can get into all those crevices and areas and the different edges of these letters. The sanding blocks are too kind of bulky, so a nail file works just as well to kind of get the sanding trick done. So I'm really just trying to knock off any of those sharp bits that are along the edges there, any epoxy that may have sort of bubbled right on the edge there and created any lumps, and I'm just sort of sanding that until it's smooth. I'm not going to sand the top at all because the top was really smooth. It was really just the edges that were rough in some sections, so I'm just going around to get those cleaned up. And that way I can go on to adding some more things on top of this. So we're going to be adding foils. So I know I haven't ever used foils on my channel, and I don't know why, because I have so many. I got all of these foils from a vinyl gallery, and I of course have the link to these down in the description box, and you can use my code LyshaB10 to save a little bit of money as well. And so we're going to use these three foils. I have a blue, a purple, and a pink. I know it's kind of hard to tell from the top down because a couple of them have a holographic shift, but we're going to use these to apply to the top of all three of the letters, okay? So the way that I apply foil is I just like to use Tack It. It is kind of the easiest for me to use. I know that some foils, or there is some sort of like really tacky glue that is made specifically for foils, and you're more than welcome to grab that as well. I find that Tack It works just fine, so I haven't had any reason to use the other stuff. So I'm going to let my Tack It dry. Well, I should say I'm going to speed up the process and get it to be tacky. That way we can apply the foil over top. So as I'm sure you've seen in other tutorials, using foil is actually really simple and really easy. It has a carrier sheet that is really, really thin and that you can't really tell. But what you're going to see me do here is I'm going to, after I dry this, I'll put my first color down. And what you do is you just put it flat on that glued section, which is now very tacky. And then you're just going to burnish it down into that glue section. I like to use my squeegee because it ensures that I'm going to get as much of the foil off in that section as possible. And then once you feel like it's burnished down really well, you just lift up on that and the foil stays put right on top of that. So I'm going to repeat the process with the pink foil, then the purple foil, then the blue foil. And again, I am going to do this for all three of them. I thought about maybe keeping it all color coordinated, but because these are my three brand colors, I wanted to make sure that all three of the letters looked like they were part of a set versus kind of being sort of single and on their own, so to speak, because my vision is that this eventually will be on a wall and be kind of the background of my wall that I use to record my intros for. So work in progress in the craft shop, if you will, here, but we're slowly but surely getting there, or making the moves to get there, if you will. So I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me do all of these, but if you have questions about using foils, I know it's not something that I do or have done super often on my channel or in any of my lives if you watch me on Facebook or Instagram. But foils are really fun and easy to use, so if you haven't grabbed them up and you want to try some, definitely check out Shop Vinyl Gallery and use my discount code to grab up some of these foils and create a fun and unique design. So let's go ahead and speed through this, and let's go ahead and move on to the next decor part of this that I'm going to be adding. So when in doubt, add glitter and leopard print. So I'm going to go in with the three colors that I grabbed out of my glitter collection that best match my brand colors. And I'm going to take some Mod Podge, and you guessed it, I'm going to do some hand painted leopard spots. So I'm going to do all three colors of glitter that I've picked out from my shelf and do a couple leopard spots of all of those colors. So I have the K from Peachy Olive Glitter. I also have Ballerina from 4K Glitter, which is shopvinylgallery.com, and then I have Tiffany Who, which is from my Aisha Creations. So I am just kind of going through, and some of the open spots that are just the blue with glittered base is what I'm putting the leopard print spots over. So you guys had to have guessed that of course I was going to be incorporating leopard print at some point into these signs, because it wouldn't be me if I didn't add a little bit of leopard print to my designs. So I'm going to do this for all three signs as I mentioned. So the B for the middle part of my brand name is going to look exactly the same or very similar with all the same colors and all the different leopard print colors and foils as the other two letters. So we've talked about hand painted leopard before on my channel. I have a video that really goes over how to do really easy hand painted leopard, and really the goal, as I've always said, is don't overthink it. When you overthink it and you try to make a pattern, it's when it doesn't look like leopard print. So take your time. Practice if you have to. I always have a handy practice cup available if I need to practice something new. And so that's exactly how I started when it came to doing hand painted leopard print, because I was not very good at it when I first started. I've now done it so often that it just comes as kind of a second nature, but definitely don't feel like you have to not do leopard print. And of course, if you didn't want to go the hand painted leopard print option, you of course could cut these on vinyl of any color and add them to the top of your sign or letters as well. And after I've finished the other two signs, or other two letters, I should say, I will let these dry for a bit. I want to let the glue dry, and then I will brush them off and then add another layer of epoxy over top so I have a nice smooth surface. So this is what the three of them look like now that they are completely complete. And the very final thing that we're going to do is just paint the edges. This is not necessary. That is kind of completely up to you if you want to paint the edges. It is, again, not necessary. I did try and paint the edges with just some white acrylic paint, and you're going to see a sped up version of that. And I did find that because this kind of wood is super porous, I had to do quite a few coats of the white paint in order to really make it prominent and really stand out. A way around this would be if you sort of decided to do a white base and then go in and do a little white acrylic paint to touch up anything. So that's kind of my thoughts, but let's go ahead and kind of take a look at what the final results are. So this is a final look at the three lettered signs. I can't wait to kind of revamp my area and really put these on the wall and get this area looking beautiful. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. But if you enjoyed today's video, give this video a huge thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys again in the next one. Bye!